All right. I think I'm going to call this one the top 10 reasons to show your sports cards flaws on YouTube. Now, this is going to mostly apply to graded cards, but a lot of it will apply to ungraded. So let's get this show on the road. Number 10, to drive John Mangini absolutely nuts. I know there's a paper fiber out of place here somewhere. I saw it a little bit ago. I know it's here somewhere on one of the edges. Got a loose paper fiber. Do you see it, John? I'm trying to find it. I can't see it. Maybe it's on the back. What is this? I don't see it back here either. Oh, we got some wear on that corner. Look at that. Look at that wear. How many paper fibers can a 4.5 have out of place and still get a 4.5? Where's that fiber? Damn it. Oh man, I mean, that card is absolutely freaking gorgeous. Now, I cannot speak for Mangini, but if I understand him correctly, I think his main point is that people shouldn't talk down their cards as if they hate their cards. I actually don't think John has an issue with someone showing their cards in great detail, if that's what they like to do. I think his point really is about people hating on their cards. It's like, well, why are you collecting them if you're hating on them? But what this video is all about, the top 10 reasons you should show your sports cards flaws on YouTube. So why am I bringing Mangini into this? Because, hey man, it's my path to fame. He's the hobby president. He's got tons of subscribers, so of course I'm going to try to bring him into this. On a side note, John could put out a video right now making 10 points that I totally disagree with. Like, I totally disagree with all 10 of his points, and I would still be honored to be his friend. Because our friendship is not based on agreeing on stuff, although I'm pretty sure we agree on way more stuff than we disagree on. So number 10, show your sports cards flaws on YouTube just to drive John Mangini nuts. Woohoo! All right, here's the deal. That was kind of a joking number 10, so let me give you a legit number 10 because you have inspected your graded card, if it's a graded card, carefully, and you cannot find a ding-dangity-darn reason or even a sufficient ding that would justify the grade of the card you added to your collection. So you are going to let the collecting community check out the situation, check out the card in great detail, and either rejoice with you because it's so fantastic for the grade, or they can tell you the reason why the card got the grade it did in the first place. A recent pickup I have not shown before in a Vintage Gem Extraordinaire 4, but I gotta tell you folks, I really don't know why this is a 4. I mean, I actually don't. Well, do I care about the number? Well, yeah, because I didn't have to pay that much for this card. That's what I like about the number, and I love graded cards. I love the presentation, the protection, the fact that it hasn't been messed with, the card hasn't been altered. I truly do not know why this card is a 4. And, I've held it at various angles. I can't find a wrinkle or anything on the surface that would bring the grade down. So I just do, that's just something. There we go. I just do not see why. Now there's, the tiniest little whatever up there on that corner, but that's not a 4 corner. That's nothing, man. I mean, this card is just freaking gorgeous. I think I paid $56 or something. I don't know, or 50-ish bucks. Maybe it's just the centering. I don't know. I have no clue why that's a 4. So why should I show you that card in great detail, show you its flaws? I'd show you its flaws if I could find them. But I can't because I'm like, damn, I'll take 4s like that all day long. I have no clue why that's a 4. Love the card. Check this one out. Same card. A recent gift from Mookie Chilson. Notice the pinhole. That's his specialty. And the Corona, part of the Corona from the pinhole. It's got plenty of wear, little paper loss. The same card. One thing I'd like to say, not the topic of this video. Oh, look at those beauties together. Thank you again, Mookie. Thank you again, man. My friend. We can love both those cards. We can love this one and appreciate its well-loved status. Probably some kid loved this enough to handle it, put wear on the corners, pinhole it, up to a board or something. So we can appreciate that. And at the same time, we can appreciate how freaking flawless this is for a vintage gem extraordinaire 4. So we don't have to choose. I mean, we can choose if we want, but we can love both those cards. And they're both glorious. I mean, this one is beautiful as well. So, yeah, that's reason number 10. By the way, while we're here, another recent pickup I have not shown. Look what you did, Mookie. It's all because of you. In an exceptionally minty 6, his all-star card from 76. So let's go ahead and show... let's go ahead and show these together. We'll put the wonderful Mookie gift in the middle. We'll put these other ones off to the side. I suppose it'd probably balance it out more if this all-star is in the middle. All right. Thank you again, Mookie. That was reason number 10. Let's get to the top 9. All right, reason number 9. And shout out to Double D. Dylan of Double D Vintage Baseball Cards, because I believe this is a reason that he already shared. And also, if I can, ride his coattails as well, then, hey, my channel's just going to take off and explode. Woohoo! Because a person might have a card as a placeholder. That's reason number 9. Maybe it's part of a set or player run, and they just don't really like the copy they have. So they are sharing with the collecting community why they do not care for their particular copy of the card, but they might hang on to that copy until they have the funds or the right replacement comes along, because their current copy, their current card, creates some type of completion. Let me show an example of that. This card right here, many of you know I've collected 62. By the way, I've got number 63 on the way, but 62 variations of the 2022 Topps Aaron Judge base card image in order to honor his epic natural home run king single season record. All right, well, this is one of the 62, but it's the only one out of the 62 where the centering, it's an 8, but the centering was, so far off that it kind of bugged me a little bit. But there was no way I was going to remove this from that collection because, hey, it's a freaking gold Ray Wave refractor out of 50. So there was no way. Well, just recently, I think I won this at auction for like $78, which I think is a steal. I got a 9. Now, I think all these kind of tend to be centered toward the top. But look at that 9. The centering, is wonderful for me. I mean, I'm totally stoked about this 9. When I look at it, I absolutely love it. There it is, 47 out of 50. But when I looked at the 8, that centering kind of bugged me. Now, maybe it would not have on a vintage card because, vintage cards tend to be off center. But 2022 Judges tend not to be so far off center. Yeah, this one was bugging me. I wasn't about to get rid of it. It's just too special, too glorious. But I waited patiently, got a replacement. And so that's reason number 8 why a person might just show a flaw on their card. The flaw here, well, it was printed that way, but the off-center, they might be just sharing their journey about, hey, this one's not meeting my standards. I'm going to be looking for a replacement. And woohoo! Oh, yeah. Here it is, baby. Woo! Oh, yeah. Reason number 8. Because everyone should collect and do YouTube the way they like to. If a collector wants to show the flaws in their cards for whatever reasons, then they should do that. People can decide whether or not they want to watch. Now, check out these glorious flaws. I think this is a really important card. Many of you know I'm collecting all of the star cards. Yes, all of them. Every single one. Subset cards, you name it, of Larry Bird. Getting pretty close. Julius Erving. By the way, one card is coming in the mail maybe tomorrow. and I will have completed every single Julius Erving star card, including the really tough best of the old. So, video coming at some point. Also, Kareem and Magic. So this, to me, the 84, 85 star, base card of Larry Bird, really important card. I only paid like 50 or 60 bucks. I got this, probably a couple years back. So what's the flaw on this excellent Mint 6? No subgrades. From what I can see, just a little tiny little bit of corner wear. You can see it up there. And just a little tiny little bit on bottom as well. A little bit off center, but not bad, especially for a star card. Back looks really nice. By the way, these have a lot of print issues, and sometimes the bird, his name is cut into. So, super stoked to have this one and only be in it about, for about 50 or 60 bucks. Well, to me, that's such an important card. Now, I do try to resist getting duplicates, but I recently got a duplicate. The seller wanted, it was either $300 or $350 for this card. I think it was $300 or best offer. He sent me an offer of $250. I sent him a counter of $150 and he took it. So I picked up another copy of this important card for $150. Now, here's the deal. Like I say, I try to avoid duplicates, but there's certain cards I guess I love so much, or I think they're so special, I'm willing to get dupes, but I don't want to spend tons of money. So look at this, $9.99 on the subs, $6 for surface. So this has got the centering, and with that green, not having the chipping on the edges of the corners, I think this just presents stunningly. So why is it a 7 overall? Because there's just some dark, there's some darker print splotches, really common. The first year, Star had some real, well, this is the second year, but, Star had production issues. So just some, little bit of print blotches, which are not so uncommon. And then on the back, you see a little bit of it too. But you know what? That doesn't bother me a bit because, you've got the centering, you've got the chip-free edges and corners. I mean, I think this just presents so well. And I only had to pay $150 for it, which I think is great. I mean, for perspective, the Jordan in this set, I know that's considered an XRC or a rookie card, and there's some debate about that, yes. But the Jordan in a 7, I don't even know what it goes for. Is it 50 grand more? The Bird for $150? Come on, man. Come on, man. I love values like that. That's one of the things that I look for. I mean, I'm not doing this for investment, but I do like to buy cards that I think have, some real upside. And in my humble opinion, rightly or wrongly, I think this is one of them. Time will tell. So that's reason number 8, because everyone should collect and do YouTube the way they like to do it. Woohoo! Oh yeah, reason number 7. Now, not everyone collects graded cards, but scrutinizing helps us to better understand grading, so that we experientially have a much better sense of what we can expect with the different grades. For example, we learned that 4s generally do not have wrinkles. Now, I learned this from Double D, Dylan. So if paper wrinkles are often a deal breaker for you, 4s may be the way to go. So that's just one example of how we can experientially get a much better sense of what we can expect with different grades. And there's some things we might be willing to live with, and other flaws we're not. And so we have to gain some experience so that we're not getting cards that have flaws that we can't live with. We're getting the ones, that we like. All right, you want to see a dandy? I'm going to show you a dandy. This 4, this dandy Dobie, look at that. Look at the back of this card. It's got to be a 10, right? Maybe an 11? Well, no, it's a 4. It's a fantastic 4. Look at this beauty. These bad boys were right in the chips. How this one survived in this pristine condition, I do not know. This thing is virtually chip-free. Oh, man, what a beauty. And it's a 4, so it shouldn't have any wrinkles. So, yeah, that, my friends, is reason number 7 to help us experientially have a much better sense of what we can expect with the different grades. Oh, is that a dandy or what? Oh, yeah, it is. All right, reason number 6. When we scrutinize our cards on video, our viewers actually get to see the cards up close and personal. Now, on many YouTube videos, the cards are quite a distance away from the camera, and we can hardly see them. If it's about the cards, doesn't it make sense to show them up close and personal? You want to see a card. Now, there's no way I'd rip on this card. This card is totally rad. Look at this. Look at that. Wow, look at the back. What do you think this grade is? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? Oh, we're talking a 2.5. Isn't it nice to see the cards up close and personal? I mean, look at that rich color. Okay, we got a little ding on the corner there, or maybe a wrinkle or wrinkle ding, whatever, probably more of a wrinkle. We got a little surface wrinkle there. A little bit of corner ding and a little wear there, a little wear here, wear there, but man, a little toning around the edge, a little bumpity bump over here. Look at that color. Look at the color. Man, that is so beautiful. A little black dot of something there, but you know what? I tell you what, this might as well be a 10. I think this is absolutely fantastic. Let's just enjoy the card up close. Become one. Become one with the cardboard. Oh, look, we got a little pinch there. Become one with the cardboard, my friends. This card is absolutely glorious. Cost me $100. $100. Why? Because I was willing to pay $100. Something there. I don't know what that is, but that doesn't bother me a bit. I can't remember what the dealer wanted. Maybe it was 150, 140, who knows? But we agreed on 100. Fairly recent pickup. I have shown it. But there you have it. Reason number 6, when we scrutinize our cards on video, even showing their flaws, our viewers actually get to see the cards up close and personal. And isn't that a big part of what it's about? Woohoo! Oh yeah, reason number 5 takes a little bit of explaining. It's fun to find a low-grade card for our collection because it's often much less expensive, and it might be a card that is totally out of reach in a higher grade, so the only way we're going to find it is in a lower grade. So there's the challenge, finding that low-grade card where we personally love the look of it. And we love stretching our hobby dollars, many of us, so we can get more great cards. So we want to share our excitement, share all the details about what we love about the card, as well as share the flaws that we are willing to live with. Case in point, my 52 Bowman, Willie Mays. Now check out the back of this beauty. Look at the back. What do you think the grade is? How about 2? I think it might, it depends on what the front looks like, right? So I would say probably about the highest grade this card could get would be a 2, because clearly it was stuck in some sort of an album. You can see glue residue, little bits of paper loss. But here's the deal. It's just a cardboard back. The ink is nice and dark. You can make out all the words. Sure, there's something, in throughout there, but I can still read that that's throughout. I can still read that that's 1951. I can still read that that's Fielding. So I don't want big chunks of paper loss personally, even on the back, but I can live with this. It brought the price way down. We figure this is no greater than a 2. Oh, let's check out the front. Whoa, look at this bad boy. Look how beautiful and sweet that is. So this is reason number 5. I want to share with my friends that I was able to get this stunning early Bowman Willie Mays. I actually like the look of this better than his rookie, although I'd love to have the rookie too, but that's a pretty darn spendy card. Heck, this is a pretty darn spendy card. So I'm rejoicing and sharing with the community. Man, I can't believe I have this card. I was able to get it for a great price. What does the front look like to you? To me, that front, has the look of a 5. Heck, maybe a 6. Oh, the look, I'm not saying it's a 5 or a 6. It's got the look of a 5 or a 6 for the price of a 2. Got this at auction. The back doesn't bother me a bit. That, my friends, is reason number 5 to show the flaws on your sports cards on YouTube. Woohoo! Oh yeah, reason number 4. Hey, thanks for hanging with me this far, everyone. I'm honored. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to give you some reasons that they resonate with me. And if they don't resonate with you, hey, that's fine. Of course, each person should hobby their own way. But yeah, I believe in all these reasons, so that's why I tend to show flaws on cards as well as all their glory. I mean, and to me, the flaws can be part of the glory too. Reason number 4, seeing the flaws up close and personal can help us find grading hacks. Oh yeah, who doesn't love a good grading hack? Case in point, the Leaf Mutual. Look at that. Even the back just screams high grade. And we check out the front, it screams high grade. Oh, the registration, you know how tough the registration is. Sharp, vibrant colors. What? A 1? What? It's a pristine 1. Woohoo! Look at that. Look at that bad boy. Where's the grading hack? Do you see it? Oh, this card is just, I love this. See it up there? In the top margin, pretty much right in the middle, see that pinhole? That's the grading hack. That one little pinhole means that PSA, in general anyway, I think maybe there have been some cards they called a 2 with a pinhole or something, but for the most part, if it's got a pinhole, it's a 1. That, my friends, is a grading hack because this was not even a comma card, meaning a card that would have a comma in the price, costing $1,000 or more. This was under $1,000. That is a fantastic grading hack. So seeing flaws up close and personal can help us find grading hacks, stretching our dollars. Oh man, this came up as a buy it now. And I don't remember if he wanted 1,000, I got it for $950. It might have just been $950 OBO, and I sent an offer, and he didn't respond, and I bought it quickly. I did not wait long, or I might have asked for $50 off, and he took my offer. I don't remember exactly. If I listened to one of my old videos, yeah, absolutely love it. That's reason number 4, seeing the flaws can help us find the grading hacks. And who doesn't love? Who doesn't love? I mean, hey, to each their own, right? But how many of us collectors would take this one, especially at a lesser price, over a 4 that has, a fair amount of wear, maybe, off registration, which is so common, isn't as vibrant? I think most of us would rather have this one. So, oh yeah, grading hacks. Woohoo! And now, we've made it to the top 3. Reason number 3, to show the flaws on your sports cards on YouTube. When it comes to vintage anyway, most of us cannot afford high-grade vintage, especially for the big stars. Scrutinizing Cards gives us a sense of what condition issues we can and cannot live with. It also gives us a sense of the range of condition issues at various grade levels. It's like buying a house. Most people do not have unlimited money to buy a house. Most people cannot afford a super expensive house. So they look to get their highest priorities. It could be a house that's not on a busy road, something they can't live with. It could be they want a big covered porch. Sports cards are the same way. When we don't have unlimited funds, when we can only afford the card in the lower grades, we look to get our highest priorities, the things that mean the most to us, and we look to avoid those types of condition flaws that are deal breakers for us, and that's different for different collectors. Some people absolutely cannot stand writing on a card. Other people can't handle surface wrinkles. Some people need a well-centered card, but they'll accept a lot of corner wear. Other people, don't care quite so much about centering, but they'd like some sharper corners. So when it comes to the 53 mantle, the 53 tops mantle, a card that I really, really wanted. What did I want? I didn't want to spend too much. I knew I'd be looking around the 1 grade roughly. I wanted great color. I wanted a great surface. I wanted a clean looking card. Relatively sharp corners. I didn't care so much about centering, especially with the 53 mantle personally. However, I kind of wanted it to be centered up, believe it or not, because it makes a bigger red rectangle at the bottom of the card. And I wanted that rectangle to look nice, which is a lot to ask for a lower grade. But I was willing to live with, some things, maybe some surface wrinkles if they weren't annoying me and they weren't through the face at all. Maybe I said I wanted it to kind of be sharp, but, I could deal with some corner wear, some surface types of issues. But when I saw this one that I'm about to show you. Oh man, I knew it was the one. Check this out. Is that a beauty or what? Now here's what's going on. It's got some scrunching. See it up there? Those glorious flaws. Check them out, man. Genie. Woo! Look, maybe some rubber bands, probably 4 rubber bands. So that's what brought this grade down. The scrunching. We got a scrunch there too. All right. But hey, I like the look of the back. Works for me. The little wax doesn't bother me a bit. Now let's check out the front. Oh, the fabulous Relic 1.5. Notice it's centered up. Look at that red rectangle. Look at that. It's like Gem Mint 10. To me, this card is absolutely stunning. Just what I was looking for. Low grade, lower price. The scrunching on the side here in the white, it doesn't bother me a bit. And it's pretty well centered left to right, which I really like. And this is the one card I would actually want it to be centered up to give a bigger red rectangle. So maybe I'm crazy. Look at the color, the vibrancy. This is exactly what I was looking for. Exactly. Because, hey, I wouldn't want to spend twice as much, even if I had the money, because, I can take that extra money and get another great card, get another dream card, get another, dare I say, grail card. I've got I believe in multiple grails. You can let me have it for that, because I know that's probably not, falls outside of what the actual definition of a grail is. But that's reason number 3. Scrutinizing cards gives us a sense of what condition issues we can and cannot live with, and we're going to have to decide, because most of us cannot afford high-grade vintage, just like most of us don't have unlimited money to buy a house. Like the present house we're in, it's got kind of a narrow hallway upstairs, but that doesn't bother me. I wish it didn't have that, but it wasn't one of our top priorities. That's fine. In fact, we just moved a desk, and it was a pain because of that narrow hallway. But, it's got some nice covered porches. We got our main priorities. The same is true for cards. Let's move on to reason number 2. Okay, reason number 2. To get a sense of what we can expect at a certain price point or in a certain price range, whether we're talking about a graded card or not. Let me give you an example. I have really wanted a Leaf Joe DiMaggio for a long time, but I didn't want to spend like $2,000 or $3,000. That's a ton of money for me, and that's a ton of money for a lot of collectors. And I don't know, maybe it's just, lately I've just been thinking, if a card's, say, $40, I might spend $60 instead of $40 to get a really nice one. But for something like a Leaf DiMaggio, if I can get a pretty nice one for, say, $1,000 or less that I like, I don't want to spend $2,000 or $3,000. That's just so much money. And I could put that money, well, first of all, I may not have that money. And secondly, I could put that money into other cards that I want. So I was kind of on this mission. Can I find a Leaf Joe DiMaggio that I like, that I love, and not have it be a comma card, meaning have it be under $1,000, or at least not more than $1,000. And so as I'm looking, I'm exploring, and I'm, honing my skills and my understanding of just what type of a Leaf Joe DiMaggio you can expect for around $1,000. I must confess, I think I got a pretty great deal. The seller wanted $1,050. I offered $875. He accepted my offer pretty quickly. Without further ado, look at the back of this beauty. Wow, his 3rd year in the league. No, this isn't his 3rd year. Sorry. Number 1. Well, he got number 1. This is, he's been in the league for a while, but look at the back of this beauty. Now to the front. Another pristine one. Woohoo! Oh yeah, $875. So reason number 2, to explore flaws, to show the flaws, to give your viewers a sense, I'm sure there's viewers out there that are looking for maybe this very card, and maybe they don't have $2,000 or $3,000 to spend. Heck, maybe $1,000 is a huge, expenditure for them. Maybe they're going to have to do some serious saving or selling to get that $1,000. Well, you could potentially get a DiMaggio that looks about like this for around $1,000. Now, you might have to wait a while. What's up with this card? Looks like it was stuck. The front of the card was stuck. There's a little either paper loss or paper remnant stuck in some sort of an album. A little bit off center. Little splash of color from the printing process that made a streak as well. But you know what? Wow. These come in different colors, and to me, I find this color to be oh so glorious. This is a really sweet color, I think, for the Leaf DiMaggio. The registration is really nice. I just think, it presents really well, especially at the price point that I paid. So I am super stoked. I've shown that a few times. Relatively recent purchase. Reason number 2, to show the flaws. Give your audience, give your fellow collectors a sense of what they can expect to pay for cards in certain conditions. A sense of if they're looking for a Leaf DiMaggio and they've got around $1,000, I tell you what, I wish you the best. I think this is a really, really, really nice card for the price. And you know what? Forget the price. I just think this is a really nice card. Whatever flaws it has, I can live with. And, to me, it's just absolutely glorious because I cared most about the color. This color is just fantastic. I love the shades. They're not always this color. The registration, the vibrancy. I can live with the off-center, especially at this price point. I can live with, the little bit of whatever's going on because it was stuck in an album. Absolutely stoked. That's reason number 2. Let's move on to reason number 1. To show your sports cards flaws on YouTube. Woohoo! All right. Reason number 1. Some of us just like to inspect our cards closely. Owning a vintage card gives us a tangible connection to the past. And for many of us, that tangible connection is magnified, by really zooming in to see what's going on with our cards. Check this beauty out. Now, I got this online. I could not believe. I think I got a fantastic buy on this because it was right before the National last year. And so, there was less action on eBay, maybe people saving their powder for the National. I made the dude an offer and thought, I'm going to own this if he accepts it. And he did. It was a lot of money. I had some money from selling a couple cards, a couple coins. This is, I think, the most I've ever spent on a card. I get a little, I don't know. I feel a little funny about saying, but I'm just going to say it. This card was $3,575. But I tell you what, I think it was a good investment because look at that. You got a little bit of that wax on the back, which personally I kind of like. That I think that's a sign it hasn't been messed with. Looks great to me, and it's just a cardboard back. Prepare to be blown away. Look at that. Vintage Gem Extraordinaire plus 4.5. Oh, wow. I mean, again, what drew me to this card? Sharp, clean, vibrant, the registration. This thing just pops. So let's see if we can, kind of up close and personal. I'll tell you what, the only thing I see on this card, which doesn't bother me a bit, just the slightest touch or something on that corner, you can hardly even notice it. Okay, the centering could be a little nicer, but it's not bad. I think to me, this card just blows me away. I can't imagine this looks much different than it did when it came right out of the pack. Here's the deal. This is not a rare card, but I tell you what, finding lower grades that look great and that you don't have to pay, well, you're going to pay a lot of money for this card, but you don't have to pay, even more money for it. Tough. Now, somebody could say, Adam, this isn't really a lower grade. It's kind of a middle. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I tell you what, just looking at the cards up close and personal, for me, it really enhances my connection that tangible connection to the past. It enhances those feelings of nostalgia, which I love to be overwhelmed with. Oh man, that is so stunning. So stunning. Yeah, I don't think it has any wrinkles. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at, the slightest little corner, wear, whatever. I mean, my goodness, this thing just blows me away. What else are we looking at? A little bit off center, but to me, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't jump out. I mean, I'm happy with it. I love this card. I absolutely love it. The wax doesn't bother me a bit. In fact, I kind of like it. Maybe I'm crazy. So that's the number one reason for many of us for probably most of us, owning vintage cards is a tangible connection to the past. And for many of us, that tangible connection is magnified. Whoa! When we really zoom in and look at our cards, inspect them closely, and even the flaws. See, when I'm looking at the flaws, what are the flaws here? There's not much, at least from what I can see, not much. But even the flaws, they don't bother me. It's like a house. If I love my house, like I love the house we're in now. Now, we might move. But, overall, I love the house. Even though there's a few things I wish were different, they weren't priorities for me. Actually, I don't even really wish they were that different. Mostly we're moving because they built some houses behind us. And so, we'd like to have a little more feeling of privacy, like in our bedroom area. But overall, we still love the house. So even if I point out the flaws in this card, I still absolutely love the card. Pointing out the flaws or seeing the flaws, understanding flaws, I think can be really important because it sets you up to get the cards that have the flaws that don't bother you a bit and to avoid the flaws that do. And I know that's different for everyone. Some people can handle all sorts of flaws and no problem for them. I must confess, I can be pretty picky. But every single one of these cards that I showed you today, well, with the exception, I guess, of that Aaron Judge that I upgraded, I absolutely love. And I also love to check out their flaws. Let me turn this camera around. All right, I love to check out their flaws as well as their strengths. So there's my top 10 reasons to show your card in all of its glory, with its flaws, scrutinizing it up close on YouTube. Thank you for sharing in my joy. I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary. Take care, my friends.